What's up guys, Winter Kills here, and welcome back to another featured archetype. Trying to do a lot more featured archetypes here on the channel, because I really like doing these types of discussions. They're a lot of fun, and when I don't have dual videos all the time, these are a nice thing to have in between to cover the decks that aren't covered so often, like Mermail, Cosmo, and stuff like that, DDD, which there will be more DDD content coming in the future. Do not worry. But since that whole Cyber Angel versus Mermail video got such a good response, a lot of support from you guys, so I want to really thank you for that. I wanted to kind of go in depth on Cyber Angels a little bit more. The new Ritual Archetype, and yes, don't get scared because of Ritual Archetype. I know the last Ritual Archetype we had that had a real impact was Necroz, and I don't think this is going to be a Necroz. I think it's just a really cool archetype that's kind of an inexpensive archetype as well. That performs really good and really cool, and I think the one time that I had to play against it, I was really impressed with how it could work and the other cards it had at its disposal to play. As you can see in here, we've got all these rituals. I should kind of just group these up like this. Should be more organized here. There you go. So you got all these rituals here. You got the Cyber Angels, which of course Cyber Angels, but not only is it just Cyber Angels, they kind of coincide with a couple other things that aren't exactly just Cyber Angels. You have Saphira, and you have Herald of Perfection, and then you also have the Star Seraphs, and of course you have, Manju at work, not just because it's a part of the Cyber Angel archetype, it's just a ritual-based deck, and I usually like to throw in other cards that go really well with the archetype, even if it isn't directly related to it. Of course, Manju is just Manju, used in any ritual deck. But another thing the deck can really use well is pre-prep, which is a really cool thing. Haven't seen a lot of decks that are able to abuse pre-prep, and I think Herald is also one of those type of cards that can really use pre-prep after prep got hit, because I know a lot of people weren't happy with how Konami did preparation of rights with Necroz when it severely hurt other ritual decks like Herald Perfection. So they came out with this card which really helps out Herald Perfection, because it gives them a card to be able to search not only just their cards, but the cards they actually really need to play out as a deck. But that's kind of a side note on a tangent there. But basically, Cyber Angels, pretty small archetype at the moment, but really cool one nonetheless. So we have Cyber Angel Ben 10. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual, right here. If this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original defense. So that's kind of interesting. Usually we see that as attack. If this card is distributed, you can add one light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. So Honest, I think originally was one of the things I saw this deck being able to do, was being able to search Honest to protect Herald, because the deck could also spit out Herald pretty easily by attributing this or Ida 10, which is also a really good combo. Not really these two guys, I just want to throw them in there as part of just the archetype as a whole, but Ben 10 being one of the best ones. Usually you summon out Ida 10 by attributing away this thing, and you get its effect. But here we have, you can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add one ritual spell card from your deck or grave to your hand. If this card is distributed, you can make all ritual monsters you currently control gain 1,000 attack. So, if it's ritual summoned, you can add a ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So you can add another copy of the one you just used to ritual summon, or just any ritual spell card in general. So that's very cool. It has some uses in probably some other decks, at least right now. So probably Herald of Perfection or Saphira. You can search this, and it'll maybe have some use down the line. Cyber Angel Ben 10 though, you summon this thing with Machine Angel Ritual, attributing this off, summoning this, and then you get a search of a light fairy. So it could be this, or it could be not this, but you get what I mean. You could search your Star Seraphs, and then the deck also plays Brilliant Fusion to help rely on getting some of this stuff off and this off in the same turn. So very cool. And then we have Cyber Angel Vishnu, which I don't think any decks are really playing. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls that were special summoned in the extra deck as possible. So it's kind of like a big construct when summoned. And if you do inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So that could be actually pretty devastating if you get this card out. But it is a level 10, and both of these are level 6s. So it'd be kind of hard to, tribute away 2 of these. If these are both level 5s, this card would be much more viable because you could tribute away these 2. You would get to search a light fairy, and your monster would gain 1,000 attack, putting it to 4,000. So that's some pretty good stats. Also, its effect continued. And if you do that, this card can make a second attack, turning each battle phase of the turn once per during either player's turn. When a card or effect is activated that will destroy a card on the field, you can shuffle 1 ritual monster from your graveyard into the deck and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Okay, that's actually really, really good. I never really read this card's effect until right now, but that is retarded. That is a really good effect. If it was just more viable, like in the sense of, I mean, if you could just tribute away these 2 things for this, that would be stupid. This card would be very good, and I think the deck would be playing. But right now, I see it just playing these and these, not necessarily these 2 guys, but be cool to see that. Now we have Cyber Angel Dakini. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send 1 monster they control to the graveyard. If a ritual monster you control attacks defense with your monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. And then once per turn during your end phase, you can target 1 ritual monster or 1 Machine Angel Ritual in your graveyard, add to your hand. So that's very cool. Level 8, so again, kind of a weird level to go along with this. I'm not necessarily sure what you can tribute with this, but I guess if you tribute any of these things, you could go with these for 8s, or you could go with this and this for an 8, or this, vice versa, whatever you want to do for this guy, level 10. Still a very solid monster, has a good recycling effect, and helps your monsters pierce, so that's really cool. Any ritual monster, nonetheless, and not even including these things. Like, we haven't even got to talk about these things that go along with the deck. Saphir, we all know what Saphir does. I mean, if you don't know what it does, there's the effect right there. You can discard 2. Basically, you get a lot of these effects at the end phase. While the turn is face up in the card, you can activate one of these selling effects. Yeah, it gets a lot of effects. You can choose one of them. After it's summoned, you can either draw 2 cards, discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand, add a light monster from your grave to your hand. Then you can only use 1 of the effects once per turn. So that's pretty cool. A pretty decent card, goes along with a deck. Level 6 light ritual fits in. Hail to Perfection is one of the other solid backbone cards for the deck, that not only does the deck have really good searching capabilities, and really flows really well as an archetype, I want to say, if that's even like a thing. It just has really good synergy as a whole. There's a lot of cards that are like, why is this an archetype? But this is one of those cards that you can summon on top of it, you know, helping search out with pre-prep here. Get it, that searches very easily. And you get this thing on board. Excess fairies in your hand can be used to be tributed, or not tributed, but discarded, just to negate stuff and kind of lock your opponent on a play. The Star Seraph's a great engine to have. Not only are there light fairies that you can search off Ben 10, but you do play Brilliant Fusion, so making these cards very live. On top of that, if you've already normal summoned your Manju for searching, obviously. The deck has access to pre-prep and preparation of rights, but prep would be only be useful to the deck if you were playing these guys right here, obviously. But then you also have cards like Machine Angel Ritual for the deck, because like obviously we've seen by reading all the effects that it is the main ritual card for the deck. This card can be used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel ritual monster. This card can be used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel ritual monster. You must also tribute monster from your hand or field whose total level equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If a light monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can discard it from your graveyard instead. So that's actually pretty cool. It's kind of got a Return of the Dragon Lords and a Void Seer effect. Not only is it also a ritual card, that's very, very good. Not only your levels have to equal it, can exceed it as well. So that's cool. So I guess you technically could tribute these 2 for this guy. That's pretty good. I don't know. I'm not sure if this card is out yet. That's why I think I haven't seen a lot of decks play it yet, but I'm pretty sure these 2 are out, and I don't think these guys are out yet in the TCG. I could be wrong though. If not, that's a busted combo, and is really underestimated if I've seen that correctly. But I don't think they're in the OC or in the TCG yet. I could be wrong though. Please let me know in the comments. We're going to continue along with the video here. But yeah, it has a very good graveyard effect, and it is a nice ritual card, allowing you to exceed the levels for the monster you're trying to ritual summon. Then you have Ritual Sanctuary. Very, very good field spell that is generic for the deck that it is playing. You can discard 1 spell card, add 1 light ritual monster or ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. And then you can shuffle any number of spell cards from your graveyard into the deck, then target 1 light fairy type monster in your graveyard. whose levels equal the number of those cards you shuffled in the deck. Special summon it. You can only use each effect of the Ritual Sanctuary once per turn. This just came out in the new Dragon's Legends set as well. So if you shuffle back 6, you can revive one of these guys. 10, this guy, vice, you know, so on and so forth for these guys. But the good thing about it is usually if you get 4 in your grave, and since it allows you to discard a spell card, it's already feeding its next effect by putting that extra spell in grave. You can revive one of these guys to help make more rank 4 plays, which is really, really good. And then of course you have your Dawn of the Herald and your Hymn of Light. Dawn of the Herald and this going really well with pre-prep. Basically add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand and one ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed on the ritual spell card. You can only activate one pre-prep of rights per turn. And then you have your Brilliant Fusion, which again, not part of the archetype, but goes extremely well with the archetype as a whole. And I think this deck in the future as we go on will be very, very good. If these cards do become available, if they're already available, I think it's a great solid deck if you're looking for something that's generally cheap and interesting as far as playstyle goes. I mean, it's a ritual deck. We don't really see much of those. I mean, we see Necroz, but before that, I hope they bring back rituals more because I really like ritual decks. I think they're very cool. And I don't think the game sees enough cool ritual archetypes. I mean, we've seen Prediction Princess. That's pretty cool, but I like this deck a lot better, and I think a lot of you guys seem to like it as well. So that's pretty cool. And it is a great deck, like I said. Cheap, effective, does what it needs to do, and it's very good. And I'm glad we got to cover it here on Featured Archetype. And I hope you guys enjoyed this Featured Archetype. If you did, leave a like so I know that you guys like these videos, and that allows me to keep making them. So I see you guys' support in these videos, so that's really great. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, WinnerKill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.